Tonight, we are going to talk about a habit that many people live with in silence. It happens when sadness comes and you spend money to feel better. You might not think of it as a pattern, but it can quietly drain your savings, increase your debt, and leave you feeling worse than before. In this video, you will learn why emotional spending happens, what it does to your mind and your money, and how to replace it with healthier habits that still give you comfort. You will hear how certain feelings make your brain want to buy things right away. You will understand the way stores and apps are designed to take advantage of those moments. You will see how old experiences from your life may be influencing the way you spend today without you even noticing. And you will get simple, practical tools to help you stop the cycle without feeling deprived. We will walk through the emotional side of spending, not just the numbers. You will learn how to spot your triggers, how to slow down before a purchase, and how to set up a plan for small, safe treats that do not harm your budget. You will see how to use tools like journaling, comfort budgets, and gentle self-talk to replace guilt with calm. These are steps you can start using right away, even if you have tried before and felt like you failed. By the end, you will have a clear understanding of how sadness and spending are connected for you. You will have a set of steps that help you keep more of your money while still meeting your emotional needs. You will know how to move from reacting to feelings with spending to responding with care. And you will feel more in control without feeling punished. This is not about judgment. This is about giving you tools that work in real life when you are tired, stressed, or lonely. It is about building a way to feel better that lasts longer than a package on your doorstep. And it is about making money feel like a source of safety instead of a source of regret. Stay until the end, because the last chapter will bring all the steps together into a simple nightly practice. This practice is designed to calm your mind before bed, help you sleep without financial stress, and prepare you for the next day with a lighter heart and a stronger plan. You will hear how to create it, how to keep it going, and how to make it your own. And before we reach that point, we will start with the moment where emotional spending often begins. The quiet night, the glow of a screen, and the feeling that something you buy might fill a space inside you. But what if that feeling could come from somewhere else entirely? It is late and the room is quiet. The only light comes from the soft glow of your phone. Outside, the streets are empty and still. Inside, you are scrolling without thinking. Your eyes follow the images as they pass. There is a blanket and a color you like, a sweater that looks warm and new, candles that promise a soft smell in the air. Each item feels like it belongs in your life. You add them to your cart one by one. The total sits at the bottom of the screen. You see it, but you do not want to think about it. Your focus is on how these things might make you feel. A little warmer, a little lighter. This is not the first time you have done this. It happens after hard days. It happens when you feel lonely. It happens when you need something to change how you feel right now. Buying feels like a quick answer. Science explains why. When you choose something to buy, your brain releases dopamine. It is a chemical that makes you feel good for a short time. This burst is fast and easy to trigger. It is one reason shopping feels so tempting when you are sad. But dopamine does not last long. The warmth fades once the package arrives. Sometimes it fades before that. The blanket is still soft, but the feeling is not the same. The sweater is still new, but your mood is not. The truth is that buying gives comfort for a moment. It does not solve the cause of your sadness. It does not change the stress you feel about money, and it can add a new stress when the bill arrives. This is how the cycle starts. First comes the low mood. Then comes the buy-in to feel better. Then comes the guilt and worry about spending. The guilt brings more sadness, and the sadness makes you want to buy again. You might tell yourself it is a reward for working hard. You might tell yourself it is harmless because it is not much money. You might tell yourself you will make up for it later, but the total cost grows over time, and it can take your budget off track. If you have felt this before, you are not alone in it. Many people use shopping as a way to cope with hard feelings. Some notice it and change it. Some live with it for years before they realize what is happening. Both are normal human responses. What matters is what happens next. This video will help you see the full pattern. You will learn the signs to watch for in yourself. You will get small, simple tools to pause before you spend. And you will learn how to keep joy in your life without losing control of your money. This is where the change starts. Not with the bill, not with the budget, but with the moment before you click buy. And with what you choose to do instead. Because the truth is, there are other ways to feel that same lift. ways that last longer, ways that help your money and your mood at the same time. We will talk about them in the chapters ahead. But first, we need to understand why new things feel so promising in the first place. When you look at something new, your mind reacts quickly. Your eyes take in the color, the shape, and the way it makes you feel. In that short moment, you picture yourself using it or wearing it. You imagine the comfort it will bring. This image in your mind is powerful. It feels real, even before you own the thing. Your brain has a system for rewards. When it thinks a reward is coming, it releases dopamine. This chemical makes you feel good for a while. You feel more energy and focus. You feel a spark of happiness. This is why shopping feels exciting before you even check out. The promise of the item feels like a promise of a better moment ahead. For a person feeling sad or stressed, this spark can be strong. It cuts through heavy emotions and offers a quick lift. The mind wants to hold on to that feeling, so you buy the thing, believing it will keep the good feeling alive. But the truth is, the brain often reacts more to the thought of the item than to owning it. Once it is in your hands, the chemical spark fades. Stores and shopping apps know this. They use colors, designs, and words to keep your brain interested. Limited time offers make you feel like you must act now. Free shipping on orders over a certain amount makes you add more to your cart. Photos of happy people using the product make you link it to joy. All of these tools are designed to keep the dopamine going until you buy. If you have felt your mood rise while scrolling, you have experienced this. It feels like control in the moment. You decide what to pick and when to buy it. You picture how life will be better with it. For someone feeling powerless in other parts of life, that sense of choice can feel important. It is a kind of comfort that is easy to reach. The problem is that the comfort does not last. Once the newness fades, the item becomes part of your normal life. You stop noticing it. You might even start looking for the next new thing to feel the same lift. This is how the habit builds. The brain starts to link buying with relief, and it repeats the pattern. Over time, this habit can lead to overspending. Small buys add up. Big buys cause stress when bills arrive. You might start hiding purchases or avoiding looking at your account. The very thing that felt like relief becomes a source of worry. The spark that once made you feel better now makes you feel trapped. It is important to know that this is not about weakness. It is about how human brains work. The reward system evolved to help us seek things we need, like food and safety. In modern life, that same system responds to products, sales, and shopping. It is natural to want that good feeling again, but without awareness, it can pull you into a cycle that hurts your finances and your peace of mind. Breaking this cycle starts with noticing it. The next time you feel drawn to by something, pause and ask yourself what you are hoping it will bring. Is it comfort, control, or a break from stress? Naming the feeling can help you decide if the purchase is the best way to meet that need. Sometimes you will still choose to buy, but you will be doing it with more awareness. You can also try creating other ways to get a similar lift. Talking to a friend, going for a short walk, or doing a small creative task can raise dopamine too. The lift from these activities can last longer and cost nothing. They also help you build habits that support your mental health and your budget at the same time. If you still want to buy something after a pause, try setting a short waiting period. Even 1 hour can help your mind settle. You may find the urge to buy is not as strong later. If you do buy, it will feel more like a choice and less like a reaction. Over time, this builds trust in yourself around money. The feeling of new hope from a purchase is not wrong. It is a natural part of being human. But when you understand it, you can decide how much space it has in your life. You can keep the joy of buying without letting it control you. And you can use your money in ways that bring comfort and security for more than a moment. In the next chapter, we will look at how these small moments of buying can grow into a bigger habit. We will explore how repeated emotional spending changes your routines, your budget, and your sense of control. And we will see how that habit can be gently reshaped into something that supports you instead of stressing you. It begins with a small decision. You have had a long day at work. You feel drained, and you tell yourself you deserve something nice. It could be a coffee from your favorite cafe, a dessert after dinner, or a quick online order. In that moment, it feels like a simple choice. The cost is low, the comfort is real, and it gives you a sense of control when the rest of the day felt out of your hands. One treat does not cause harm. In fact, small joys are part of a good life. But the trap starts when this decision becomes a pattern. A coffee one day turns into 3 or 4 days a week. A dessert after dinner becomes part of every grocery trip. An online purchase becomes your go-to way of ending a stressful evening. The spending is small enough to ignore in the moment, but over time, the totals grow larger than you expect. When these treats are linked to emotions, the habit grows faster. If you feel stressed, you buy something to calm down. If you feel bored, you shop to make the day more interesting. If you feel lonely, you order something to fill the quiet space. Your brain starts to connect each emotion with a purchase. Soon, buying is not just something you do for fun. It becomes your main response to any uncomfortable feeling. Marketing makes this even harder to see. Stores and online shops offer small discounts, free shipping for spending a little more, or limited time offers that make you feel like you must act quickly. You tell yourself it is a smart choice because you are saving money. The truth is that you are spending on something you did not plan to buy. Over time, these moments add up, leaving you wondering where your money went. The comfort you feel from these purchases is real, but it does not last. Once the coffee is gone, once the package is opened, life returns to where it was before. The stress, the boredom, or the loneliness that started the spending is still there. You might even feel a wave of regret, especially if the spending was more than you could afford that week. That regret can lead to more sadness, and that sadness can lead you to look for the next treat. This is the cycle that makes the habit hard to break. The more you use buying as a way to cope, the more normal it feels. The more normal it feels, the less you notice the impact it has on your budget and your peace of mind. By the time you see the total cost, the habit is strong, and changing it feels uncomfortable. Breaking this trap is not about removing all joy from your life. It is about deciding how often you want to have these treats and making sure they fit your financial plan. One way is to set a comfort budget, a small amount each month for things that make you happy. This lets you enjoy the treat without guilt or surprise bills. You can still have what you like, but you know where the limit is. Another step is to find comfort in ways that do not involve spending. Listening to music you enjoy, walking in the fresh air, cooking a simple meal, or spending time with someone you trust can bring the same sense of relief without affecting your bank account. These moments also help you connect with yourself and your life in a deeper way. Over time, they can replace the need to spend every time an emotion feels heavy. You can also slow the habit by adding a pause before you buy. Even a short wait of 1 hour can give your mind space to decide if the purchase is what you truly want. Sometimes you will still choose to buy, but you will be doing it with a clear decision instead of reacting to a quick feeling. This builds trust with yourself around money and makes each treat more meaningful. It is important to remember that treating yourself is not wrong. The problem comes when the habit grows so quietly that it takes more from you than it gives. When the cost to your finances and your peace becomes heavier than the comfort, it is time to make a change. This change does not need to be sudden or strict. Small shifts in how and when you spend can protect both your money and your well-being. When you look closely, you might see that the treats were never the full source of comfort. They were a signal. They showed you that you needed care, rest, or connection. When you meet those needs directly, you will feel the same sense of relief without depending on a purchase to create it. You will still enjoy the times you choose to treat yourself, but the decision will be on your terms, not driven by habit. In the next chapter, we will talk about the moment when the comfort fades and the cost appears. We will explore what happens when the bill arrives before the joy has worn off, and how those feelings can pull you back into the cycle if you are not careful. Understanding this stage is the key to breaking the loop for good. The first days after a purchase often feel light. You open the package, you touch the fabric, you light the candle, you taste the treat. It feels new and special. For a short time, you think about it often. You tell yourself it was worth it. You enjoy the small changes it brings to your day. But slowly, the newness blends into the background. The sweater is folded with the others. The candle is part of the room now. The treat is gone. You stop noticing the change it made. The feeling you had when you bought it fades away. You are back in your normal routine, and the reason you bought it in the first place is still there. Then the bill arrives. It might be an email from your bank or a paper statement in the mail. You open it and see the numbers in black and white. Sometimes the amount surprises you. You might remember a few of the purchases, but not all of them. The total feels heavier than you expected. It takes you out of the moment and back into the reality of your money. This is when regret, often appears. You think about what else that money could have been used for. You think about how much easier the month would feel without this bill. You may even feel a wave of frustration with yourself for making the purchase. The same spending that brought you comfort is now bringing you stress. For some people, this stress can trigger more spending. It sounds strange, but it is a common cycle. You feel bad about money, so you buy something small to feel better. That small buy adds to the total, and the stress grows again. It becomes a loop that repeats every month, and it can feel impossible to stop without new tools. One of the hardest parts of this stage is the sense of lost control. You might feel like you cannot trust yourself with money. You might start avoiding looking at your bank account or delaying opening bills. This delay gives temporary relief, but it also makes the problem grow in the background. Without knowing your true balance, it is harder to make choices that protect your future. To change this pattern, the first step is to face the numbers. Even if it feels uncomfortable, looking at your account and your bills gives you a clear view of what is happening. The more often you do this, the less power the numbers have to scare you. You begin to see them as information instead of judgment. This is where you start to take control back. You can also make a habit of tracking your purchases as they happen. Write them down in a small notebook or in a simple phone app. This helps you see the total building before the bill arrives. It gives you a chance to pause before the total gets too high. You can make a choice in the moment instead of being surprised later. Another step is to connect your purchases to your budget in real time. If you have a comfort budget, subtract each treat as you buy it. Seeing the balance get smaller will help you decide which purchases matter most to you. This turns the comfort budget into a tool that supports your choices instead of limiting them. It is also helpful to plan for the feelings that come when the bill arrives. If you know you will feel stress or regret, prepare a calming routine for that time. It might be making tea, going for a walk, or talking to a friend. By giving yourself a healthy response, you can avoid falling into the spending cycle again. Over time, these steps help you see the full picture of your money. You start to feel more in control. You notice the difference between a purchase that truly adds value and one that is only there to fill a feeling. You can still enjoy treats, but you choose them with clear eyes. The bills stop being a shock, and the regret starts to fade. When the comfort fades and the bill arrives, it can feel like a turning point. It can push you further into the cycle, or it can be the moment you decide to break it. The choice is not about giving up comfort. It is about finding comfort that lasts longer than a shipping confirmation. In the next chapter, we will look at the deeper reasons why emotions and money are so closely linked. We will explore how past experiences, family habits, and personal beliefs shape the way you spend today. This is where the root of the habit begins, and understanding it is the first step to truly changing it. Every spending habit has a story behind it. The choices you make with money are not only about what you want right now, they are shaped by what you learned in the past. They are influenced by the way you saw people around you handle money when you were younger. They are connected to the feelings you had during those moments. For some people, childhood meant living in a home where money was tight. Every purchase was a big decision. Buying something new was rare, so it felt special. In this kind of home, getting something for yourself might have been seen as a big event. It could have brought excitement and joy, but also a sense of guilt for using money that was needed for other things. For others, childhood meant living in a home where money was spent freely. New clothes, toys, and treats were common. There might not have been many talks about saving or planning ahead. Spending felt normal and safe, so it became a habit to get what you wanted right away. As an adult, this can turn into buying as a first response to any want or feeling. Sometimes, emotional spending starts from moments of stress or loss in the past. If you went through hard times when you felt powerless, buying something might have been a way to feel in control. It could have been the one thing you could choose for yourself. Over time, that choice becomes a comfort you'll return to again and again. Family beliefs about money also play a strong role. You might have heard phrases like money is for enjoying, or money doesn't grow on trees. These words shape how you think about earning, saving, and spending. They can make you feel pressure to either hold on to money tightly or to use it quickly before it is gone. Both patterns can lead to emotional spending in different ways. Past experiences do not only shape your money habits, they also shape how you feel about yourself when you spend. If you grew up hearing that you were smart with money, you might feel more confident even when making risky purchases. If you were told you were careless or wasteful, you might feel guilt even when buying something you truly need. These feelings can make it harder to separate a healthy choice from an emotional reaction. Understanding these roots is important because it helps you see that your habits are not random. They are the result of years of learning, watching, and feeling. When you connect your current spending to your past experiences, you begin to understand why certain triggers are so strong. You see why some purchases feel harder to resist than others. This awareness is not about blame. It is not about finding fault with yourself or your family. It is about understanding the reasons behind the habit so you can make different choices moving forward. You cannot change the past, but you can change the way it influences your present. One way to start is to notice your earliest memories about money. Think about the first time you remember wanting something and not getting it. Think about the first time you remember being given something without asking. What feelings came with those moments? Are they similar to the feelings you have before you make an emotional purchase now? Another way is to look for patterns between your emotions and your spending. Do you shop more when you feel lonely, anxious, or bored? Do you avoid spending when you feel secure? These patterns can often be traced back to the way those emotions were handled in your early life. Once you see the pattern, you can plan ways to respond differently. It can also help to talk about these experiences with someone you trust. Sharing your story out loud can make it easier to see the connections you might miss on your own. Sometimes, simply saying the words, "I spend more when I feel this way," is the first step to breaking the habit. When you understand the roots of emotional spending, you are no longer making changes blindly. You are choosing new habits with a clear view of where the old ones came from. This gives you a stronger foundation to build on. You can start replacing emotional spending with responses that meet the same needs in healthier ways. In the next chapter, we will look at the shift that happens when you begin to see money not as a source of comfort, but as a tool for stability. We will explore how changing your view of money changes the way you spend it and the way you feel about it. This is where the habit starts to lose its grip and your choices become your own again. When you have spent years linking money to comfort, it can feel strange to think about it in another way. You may be used to the idea that money is there to make you feel better when life feels heavy. A purchase becomes a quick fix, something you can control when other parts of life feel out of reach. This way of thinking is familiar, but it can keep you from using money in ways that truly support your future. The shift begins when you see money not as something to use only for comfort, but as a tool. A tool is something you use with purpose. It has a job to do. When you treat money like a tool, you decide ahead of time how it will be used. This decision is based on your needs, your goals, and your plans, not only on how you feel in the moment. This change is not about removing all enjoyment from your spending. It is about making sure your spending lines up with what matters to you most. Instead of buying to escape stress, you start using money to build stability. You think about how your choices today will affect your comfort tomorrow, next month, and next year. One of the best ways to start seeing money as a tool is to connect it to specific outcomes. When you save, you are not just keeping money in an account. You are buying peace of mind for the next time something unexpected happens. When you pay down debt, you are not just sending money to a company. You are buying freedom from interest charges and future stress. When you invest, you are not only putting money into a fund, you are buying more options for your future self. This view of money changes how you feel about it. Instead of seeing money as something that comes and goes, you start to see it as something you can grow and shape. You begin to notice the difference between spending that gives short-term comfort and spending that creates long-term security. This awareness makes it easier to pause before buying and ask yourself if the purchase fits the job you want your money to do. Changing your view of money also helps you step out of emotional spending cycles. When you feel stressed or sad, you might still want to spend, but you have a stronger reason to pause. You know that each dollar has the power to help you reach something more meaningful. You understand that comfort can come from stability as much as from a new purchase. It helps to set clear priorities for your money. Decide which needs come first, such as housing, food, and savings. Then decide which wants are most important to you and how often you will spend on them. This structure gives you a sense of control without feeling like you are living with strict rules. It also makes it easier to enjoy the things you buy because you know they fit within your plan. You can still set aside money for fun. In fact, planning for it can make it more enjoyable. When you have a comfort budget, you can use it without guilt because it was part of your plan from the start. This turns spending into a choice instead of a reaction. It also makes the moments of enjoyment feel richer because you know they do not come at the cost of your future security. As you practice this, you may notice your relationship with money becoming calmer. You check your accounts without dread. You make spending decisions with more thought. You see progress toward your goals, and that progress itself becomes a source of comfort. The urge to buy something for a quick boost starts to fade because you have other ways to feel steady. Over time, money stops being a way to fill emotional gaps and becomes a way to build a foundation. That foundation supports you through hard times and helps you enjoy good times more fully. You realize that security can be one of the greatest comforts of all, and it does not fade when the bill arrives. In the next chapter, we will talk about how to handle moments when emotions run high and the urge to spend feels strong. You will learn how to create a plan for those moments so you can protect both your feelings and your finances at the same time. This is where the work you have done so far begins to meet real-life challenges. Even when you start seeing money as a tool, there will be times when emotions feel stronger than your plans. A stressful day at work, an argument with someone you care about, or a wave of loneliness can make the urge to spend return quickly. These are the moments when old habits try to pull you back into the cycle. Without a plan, it is easy to slip into spending without thinking. The first step in handling high emotion moments is to notice them. Pay attention to the times when you feel the strongest pull toward buying something. It might be late at night, on weekends, or right after certain events. The more you recognize these patterns, the better you can prepare for them. Awareness makes it harder for a habit to work in the background. Once you know your high-risk times, you can decide in advance how you will respond. This is not about never spending again. It is about giving yourself more than one option when the feelings arrive. You might choose to keep a list of calming activities ready. This list could include calling a friend, stepping outside for fresh air, doing a short workout, reading a book, or listening to music you enjoy. The goal is to give your brain another way to release stress. It can also help to create physical pauses between the urge to spend and the act of buying. If you are online, close the app or the browser and set a timer for 20 minutes. If you are in a store, walk to a different section or step outside. This short break gives your emotions time to settle, and it gives your logical mind a chance to join the decision. Some people find it helpful to keep a small comfort kit at home for these moments. This could be a box or drawer filled with things that bring you peace without costing more money. It might include tea, a favorite blanket, a journal, or a playlist of songs that lift your mood. Reaching for this kit can become a new habit that replaces immediate spending. If the urge to spend still feels strong after your pause, ask yourself 2 questions. Do I need this item right now, and does it fit my plan for money this month? If the answer to either question is no, consider adding the item to a wish list instead of buying it. This keeps the idea alive without creating instant costs. Often, you will find that the desire fades after a day or 2. Having someone you trust can also make a difference. Share your goals with them and let them know you might reach out before making certain purchases. Even a short conversation can help you feel less alone in the moment and can give you the space to think more clearly. This is not about asking for permission, but about adding a layer of support to your decision-making. Over time, these steps create a safety net for your high-emotion moments. You start to trust that you can handle them without falling into the old cycle. You see that comfort can come from many sources, not only from spending. Each time you choose a different response, you strengthen your ability to stay in control. It is important to remember that change does not mean perfection. There will be times when you spend in the moment, even with a plan. These moments are not failures. They are opportunities to learn more about your triggers and to adjust your plan for next time. The goal is not to remove all emotional spending, but to make sure it happens on your terms and in a way that supports your overall well-being. When you have a plan for these high-emotion moments, you give yourself the power to choose instead of react. You replace quick comfort with lasting control. You begin to trust yourself more, and that trust becomes another kind of comfort you can rely on. In the next chapter, we will explore how to rebuild your daily routines so they naturally support better spending habits. This is where prevention starts to take the place of constant repair, and where small changes in your day can lead to big changes in your financial peace. The way you spend money is often connected to the way you live each day. When your routine leaves you tired, rushed, or stressed, the urge to spend for comfort becomes stronger. When your day is balanced, you have fewer moments where emotions take over your choices. That is why changing your habits around money often starts with changing your habits around time. Start by looking at the moments in your day when you feel the weakest about spending. Maybe it is first thing in the morning when you scroll through your phone before getting out of bed. Maybe it is after work when you feel drained and want a quick reward. Maybe it is late at night when the house is quiet and you want something to fill the space. These are the moments to focus on first. Replace higher-risk times with small, steady rituals that bring you comfort without cost. If mornings are hard, try starting the day with a short walk, stretching, or making a cup of tea before looking at your phone. If evenings are when you feel the urge to buy, have a go-to activity ready, like cooking a simple meal, calling a friend, or reading something light. If late nights are your trigger, set a bedtime routine that helps you relax before the temptation to shop online begins. The goal is not to fill every moment with tasks, but to create gentle patterns that protect your energy. When you feel cared for throughout the day, you are less likely to seek comfort through quick spending. Over time, these small changes become automatic, and you start to notice fewer moments where you feel the need to buy something to feel better. It also helps to plan your spending into your week. Choose a specific time to review your money, even if it is only for a few minutes. Look at what you have spent, what you have saved, and what is coming up. This habit keeps you connected to your choices and reduces the chance of surprise bills. When you know where your money is going, you can make changes before problems grow. Another useful step is to keep your environment free of easy triggers. If certain apps make it too easy to shop, remove them from your phone or turn off their notifications. If certain stores make you want to spend more than you planned, avoid them unless you have a clear list. By reducing how often you see these triggers, you make it easier to stick to your plans. Your routine can also include moments of reflection. At the end of the day, think about the times you wanted to spend and what you chose instead. Notice how you felt afterward. This helps you see which changes are working and which might need more support. It also helps you build awareness of your progress, which is important for staying motivated. Building routines takes time. At first, you might need to remind yourself to follow them, but the more often you practice, the more natural they become. These new habits do not have to be perfect to work. Even small improvements in your daily rhythm can make a big difference in how you handle emotional spending. When your days have structure, your mind feels calmer. You have fewer surprises and more control over your time and energy. This balance makes it easier to see money as a tool for your goals, instead of a way to fix your mood. You spend more in line with your values and less in response to stress. The routines you build are not only about avoiding bad habits, they are about creating a life where you feel cared for every day. In this kind of life, money becomes one part of a larger picture, not the main source of comfort. The need to buy something to feel better becomes less frequent, and the choices you make with money feel more steady. In the next chapter, we will focus on how to rebuild your relationship with saving. Saving is not only about putting money aside, it is about creating a sense of safety that can help you resist emotional spending. We will look at simple ways to make saving part of your daily life, even if it has been difficult before. Saving money often feels like a task you should do, but not always something you want to do. It can seem like a delay of comfort, a pause on the things you enjoy now. When you have been used to spending to feel better, saving may even feel like you are denying yourself something important. But saving is not about saying no forever. It is about saying yes to future comfort and safety. The first step to rebuilding your relationship with saving is to connect it to something meaningful. Saving works best when it has a purpose you care about. It could be an emergency fund to handle unexpected bills. It could be a trip you want to take. It could be a feeling of security when you check your account and know you have a cushion. When saving has a clear goal, it becomes more than numbers in a bank. It becomes a promise to yourself. Start small. Many people try to save too much at once and give up when it feels impossible. Even a few dollars a week can make a difference over time. The habit matters more than the amount in the beginning. When saving becomes part of your routine, you can increase it when you are ready. Each time you save, you are building trust with yourself, proving that you can plan for your future and stick to it. You can also make saving easier by removing extra steps. If possible, set up an automatic transfer from your checking account to your savings account. This way, saving happens without you having to decide each time. It becomes a quiet part of your routine, something that happens in the background while you focus on living your life. Another way to make saving feel better is to celebrate progress. When you reach a small milestone, take a moment to notice it. You do not need to spend to celebrate. You can mark the moment by sharing it with someone you trust, writing it down, or simply allowing yourself to feel proud. These moments remind you that saving is not about losing joy, but about creating more of it in the future. If emotional spending has been part of your life, saving can also act as a shield. When you have money set aside, you feel less pressure in moments of stress. You know you have something to fall back on, so you do not need to buy comfort in the same way. This safety net can make it easier to pause before spending and choose what will truly help you. It is important to keep saving flexible. Life changes, and your savings plan should change with it. Some months you may be able to save more, and other months you may need to save less. What matters is keeping the habit alive. Even if you save only a small amount, you are still building the pattern that will carry you forward. Saving is also a way to give yourself options. When you have money set aside, you can make choices based on what is best for you, not only on what you can afford right now. This freedom can feel more comforting than any purchase. It is a kind of comfort that does not fade when the bill arrives. As your savings grow, you may notice that your view of money changes. It becomes less about quick rewards and more about building something steady. You begin to see that every dollar has the potential to bring peace, not just excitement. You start to feel that you are caring for both your present and your future self at the same time. In the next chapter, we will look at how to create a spending plan that feels supportive instead of strict. A plan that leaves room for joy while keeping you on track with your goals. A plan that works with your emotions, not against them. This is where saving and spending come together in balance. A spending plan is not about taking away freedom. It is about creating a guide that helps you feel secure while still enjoying your life. When a plan works with your needs and emotions, it becomes a source of support instead of stress. It helps you know where your money is going and why, so you can feel calm instead of worried when you spend. The first step is to decide what matters most to you. These are your priorities. Some will be non-negotiable, like rent, food, and utilities. Others will be personal, like saving for a trip or setting aside money for hobbies. By knowing your priorities, you can shape your spending plan around the things that truly matter, instead of letting impulse choices lead the way. Once your priorities are clear, separate your spending into categories. You can keep it simple. Have a category for needs, one for savings, and one for wants. Needs cover your basics, savings covers your future, and wants cover the extras that bring joy. This structure helps you see how much of your money is going toward each part of your life. Set a clear amount for each category. Start with your income, subtract your fixed needs, then decide how much to save. Whatever is left can be used for wants. The goal is to keep these amounts realistic. If the numbers feel too tight, adjust slowly instead of making extreme cuts. A plan that is too strict will be harder to follow. A supportive plan also includes space for flexibility. Life changes, and so do your needs. Some months will bring extra expenses, and some months will be lighter. When you allow your plan to adjust with your life, you avoid the guilt that can come from unexpected spending. The plan is there to guide you, not punish you. To make the plan easier to follow, keep track of your spending in a way that works for you. It could be an app, a notebook, or a spreadsheet. Update it regularly so you can see your progress and catch any issues early. Tracking is not about watching every penny. It is about staying aware so you can make confident choices. It also helps to review your plan once a month. Look at what worked and what felt difficult. If you notice certain categories are always over or under budget, adjust them. A plan that changes with your habits will always work better than one that stays rigid no matter what happens. Including a joy budget is an important part of keeping your plan supportive. This is money you set aside for fun or comfort without guilt. Knowing you have space for enjoyment makes it easier to resist unplanned spending because you already know you will have moments to treat yourself. A balanced spending plan also helps with emotional spending. When you know your wants category has a set amount, you can enjoy using it fully without crossing into money meant for other priorities. This balance keeps you in control while still allowing you to enjoy your life. The more you follow your plan, the more natural it becomes. Over time, you start to notice that you are making choices with confidence instead of hesitation. You spend in ways that match your values and goals, and you save without feeling deprived. The plan becomes less about numbers and more about living in a way that feels stable and satisfying. In the next chapter, we will focus on how to recover after slipping into old habits. No plan is perfect, and everyone has moments when they spend more than they intended. Learning how to handle those moments with care will keep you moving forward without losing your progress. No matter how much progress you have made, there will be days when you fall back into old spending patterns. It might be one purchase that feels small at first, but grows into more. It might be an evening where emotions feel heavy and buying something seems like the easiest way to feel better. These moments can be frustrating, especially when you have been working hard to change, but a slip is not the end of your progress. It is a moment to slow down, understand what happened, and choose how to move forward with care. The most important thing you can do after overspending is to acknowledge it quickly. In the past, you might have ignored the numbers for days or weeks. You might have avoided checking your bank account or reading the receipt. Now, your first step is to face the truth with calm awareness. Look at the full amount you spent. This is not about punishing yourself. It is about keeping your eyes open so you can respond in a way that helps you, not hurts you. Once you see the numbers, give yourself space to understand the cause. Ask yourself what was happening before you decided to spend. Were you tired after a long day? Did something upset you? Was it a celebration that led to more spending than you planned? Or was it a moment of boredom that turned into browsing online? The more you notice the patterns behind these moments, the easier it becomes to prepare for them next time. Sometimes a slip happens because your plan was too strict. If your spending plan leaves no space for joy, you may find yourself breaking it more often. Other times, a slip happens because of old habits that still feel comforting. Buying something might give you a momentary lift, even if you regret it later. Understanding which of these reasons applies to your situation will guide the changes you make. After you identify the cause, focus on adjusting the rest of your month. Look at your budget and see where you can make gentle changes. If the overspending came from your wants category, you might decide to pause non-essential purchases until the next cycle. If it touched money meant for needs or savings, find small ways to rebalance. This could mean delaying a purchase you had planned, cooking at home instead of eating out, or finding free alternatives for entertainment. The goal is to restore balance without making yourself feel deprived. Taking care of your emotions during recovery is just as important as adjusting your numbers. Overspending can trigger guilt, shame, or frustration. These feelings can lead to avoidance, which only makes the situation harder to fix. Instead, speak to yourself with patience. Remind yourself that one decision does not erase all your progress. You have the power to correct course, and the fact that you are addressing it now means you are already making progress. It is helpful to put safeguards in place for the future. If a certain store or website often leads to overspending, create a limit around it. This could mean unsubscribing from marketing emails, removing shopping apps from your phone, or setting a spending cap for specific places. If your triggers are emotional, plan healthy responses you can turn to instead of buying. Keep a list of activities, like calling a friend, going for a walk, or writing in a journal, ready for those moments. Another powerful step is to focus on your very next decision. The slip is behind you, but what you do next will determine how quickly you recover. Choose one action that brings you closer to your goals. It might be moving a small amount into savings, paying a little extra toward a bill, or tracking your expenses for the day. Small actions rebuild your confidence and remind you that you are still in control. Recovery also means learning from the experience. Ask yourself what this moment taught you. Did you notice a new trigger? Did you realize that your plan needs more flexibility? Did you find that certain times of day or certain emotions make you more vulnerable to spending? Every answer helps you strengthen your approach. With time, you will notice that slips become less frequent. This is not because you will never feel tempted again, but because you will have built the skills to handle those feelings in new ways. Each recovery is a practice round for the future. You learn that you can have a setback, respond with care, and continue moving forward. Remember, progress is not a straight path. It is a series of steps, pauses, and restarts. The most important part is that you keep going. Every time you return to your plan, you are training yourself to stay steady. Every time you choose a healthier response, you are making the old habits weaker. When you treat a slip as a moment for reflection instead of punishment, you remove the power it has over you. You give yourself the space to keep building the life you want without getting stuck in guilt. This is how change becomes permanent, not through perfection, but through persistence. In the next chapter, we will talk about creating a long-term vision for your money, a vision that gives your daily choices meaning, connects your present to your future. and helps you stay focused even when life tries to pull you off track. A long-term vision gives your daily money choices direction. Without it, each decision can feel separate, with no clear connection to your future. You may save some months and spend more in others, without knowing if you are moving closer to what you want. When you have a vision, every choice feels like a step toward something real and personal to you. The first part of building your vision is defining what matters most. Think about the kind of life you want to live, not only in the next few months, but in the next few years. Do you want a home that feels safe and welcoming? Do you want the freedom to travel without debt? Do you want to work less so you can spend more time with family? Your vision should reflect the values and experiences that mean the most to you. Once you have a clear idea, write it down. Describe it in simple, specific terms. For example, instead of saying, "I want to be comfortable," you might write, "I want to have 6 months of living expenses saved so I can handle emergencies without stress." Specific goals make it easier to see progress and stay motivated. Your vision should also include timelines, but they do not need to be rigid. Think about what you would like to achieve in 1 year, 3 years, and 5 years. Setting timeframes helps you see the steps needed to get there. It also keeps you from feeling overwhelmed because you can focus on one stage at a time. Once your vision is written, connect it to your current money habits. Look at your spending plan and savings goals. Are they aligned with where you want to be? If they are not, make small adjustments. You might need to save a little more each month, reduce spending in certain areas, or find new ways to earn extra income. It is also important to keep your vision flexible. Life changes, and so will your priorities. Review your vision at least once a year to make sure it still fits your goals. You may find that certain dreams become less important, while new ones take their place. Adjusting your vision does not mean you are giving up. It means you are making sure your plan reflects your real life. Your long-term vision can also help you stay steady during moments of temptation. When you feel the urge to spend on something outside your plan, ask yourself if it supports your vision. If it does not, remind yourself of what you are working toward. This pause can be enough to keep you focused on your bigger goals. It is helpful to keep reminders of your vision where you can see them. This might be a note on your phone, a picture on your wall, or a small card in your wallet. These reminders act as quiet nudges, guiding you back to your priorities when distractions appear. Sharing your vision with someone you trust can also make it stronger. When someone else knows what you are working toward, they can encourage you and help you stay accountable. Talking about your goals out loud makes them feel more real and keeps them at the front of your mind. Over time, your vision becomes a steady guide for your decisions. It turns money management from a task into a way of caring for your future self. Each saving choice, each spending decision, becomes part of a larger picture. You start to feel that you are not only reacting to the present, but shaping the years ahead. In the next chapter, we'll talk about how to keep your progress going by celebrating small wins along the way. These celebrations are more than moments of joy. They are fuel for the journey, keeping your motivation alive as you move closer to your vision. When you are changing how you handle money, it can feel like a long road. Big goals like paying off debt, building savings, or feeling secure in your spending habits take time. Some weeks will pass without a major change, and it can be hard to see progress. But change is not only measured by the final result, it grows through small steps you take every day, and each of these steps deserves attention. Celebrating small wins is what keeps you moving forward when the bigger goal still feels far away. Small wins are any moments where you make a choice that supports your vision for your money. It might be resisting an impulse purchase, sticking to your budget for the week, paying a little more toward a bill, or transferring a few extra dollars into savings. Even something as simple as checking your account before spending is a win, because it shows you are staying aware. These actions may feel small, but each one is proof that you are building habits that will last. The first step in celebrating wins is to notice them. Many people skip over their own progress because they are focused on how far they still have to go. But every time you make a choice that brings you closer to your goal, you are creating change. When you recognize these moments, you give yourself the credit you deserve. That credit builds motivation, and motivation keeps you going. Celebration does not need to involve spending money. In fact, it often works better if it doesn't. You can mark a win by simply pausing and saying to yourself, "That was a good choice." You can write it down in a journal or share it with a friend. You can keep a small notebook or a note on your phone just for recording your progress. Each time you add something, you are building a visible record of your journey. Some people find it helpful to track progress in a visual way. You might create a chart that you fill in as you save money or pay off debt. You could keep a jar where you place a coin or token each time you make a choice that supports your plan. Over time, you can see these visual markers grow, and they remind you that the small steps are adding up. It also helps to connect each win to your bigger vision. When you save even $10, remind yourself that it is not just a small amount of money, it is part of your emergency fund, your travel budget, or your path to becoming debt-free. When you skip an unplanned purchase, think about how that choice protects your ability to reach your goals. These reminders make your wins feel more valuable and keep your vision fresh in your mind. Celebrating small wins is not only about feeling good, it also helps you recover from setbacks. If you overspend or make a choice you regret, remembering all the wins you have built before keeps you from giving up. You can see that one decision does not erase your progress. It is one moment in a much longer story, and you are still moving forward. You can make celebration part of your regular routine. At the end of each week, take a few minutes to reflect on the good choices you made. Write them down or say them out loud. At the end of each month, look back at your notes and see how many wins you collected. Over time, you will notice that these moments become more frequent, and your confidence in handling money will grow. Sharing your wins with others can make them even stronger. A trusted friend, partner, or community can celebrate with you and encourage you to keep going. They might share their own wins, which creates a feeling of support and shared progress. Encouragement works both ways. Your progress can inspire someone else, and theirs can inspire you. The more you celebrate, the more you train your mind to see progress. Instead of focusing only on what is left to do, you also see how far you have already come. This balance between looking ahead and appreciating the present is what keeps motivation steady over time. Without it, the journey can start to feel endless. With it, you feel rewarded along the way. When you make space for small celebrations, you remind yourself that change is happening right now, not only in the future. You see that every step counts. You learn to trust your ability to make choices that serve you, and you give yourself the encouragement you need to keep building the life you want. In the next chapter, we will focus on protecting this progress by turning supportive choices into daily habits. Habits make your decisions automatic, so you do not have to rely on constant willpower. They become the quiet structure that holds your goals in place even when life feels unpredictable. The choices you make with money each day shape the direction of your life. In the early stages of change, each choice requires focus and effort. You have to think about whether to spend or save, whether to follow your plan or give in to impulse. This can be tiring, and without support, it is easy to slip back into old patterns. That is why building habits is so important. Habits remove the need to make the same decision over and over. They turn the supportive choices you want to make into your default way of living. A habit starts with repetition. The more you do something, the more natural it feels. At first, you may need reminders or prompts. Over time, the action becomes automatic. This works in both directions. Old spending patterns became habits because they were repeated often. Now you can use the same process to create habits that protect your progress. Begin by choosing one or two habits that will have the biggest impact. These might include checking your bank balance each morning, setting aside a set amount of money each payday, or writing down every purchase you make. Start small so you can be consistent. If you try to change too much at once, the new habits will feel overwhelming, and they are more likely to fade. Link your new habits to things you already do. If you want to track your spending daily, do it right after your morning coffee. If you want to review your budget each week, tie it to a specific day and time you already have free. When you connect a new habit to an existing routine, it becomes easier to remember and harder to skip. You can also make habits easier by removing obstacles. If saving is your goal, set up automatic transfers so the money moves without you having to think about it. If avoiding impulse spending is important, remove shopping apps from your phone or log out of online accounts, so there is an extra step before you can buy. The easier it is to follow the habit, and the harder it is to break it, the more likely it will last. It helps to track your habits at the start. Mark each day you complete them on a calendar or in an app. Seeing your streak grow can be motivating, and it gives you a clear record of your consistency. If you miss a day, do not see it as failure. Focus on starting again right away so the habit stays alive. As your habits take hold, you will notice something important. They begin to work without much thought. You will save without debating it. You will check your spending automatically. You will pause before buying without having to remind yourself. This is when your habits start to protect you even during stressful times. Habits also make it easier to handle unexpected changes. If your income drops or expenses rise, your habits keep you grounded. You will already have a system for tracking, adjusting, and saving. This stability allows you to respond to challenges with calm instead of panic. It is important to refresh your habits from time to time. Life changes, and so do your needs. Every few months, review your habits and decide if they still serve your current goals. You might need to adjust them, add new ones, or let go of habits that no longer fit. This keeps your routine from becoming stale and keeps your progress aligned with your vision. Building lasting habits is not about being perfect every day. It is about creating a foundation strong enough to support you through both good and difficult seasons. Even when you feel tired or distracted, your habits keep you moving in the right direction. They carry you forward when willpower alone is not enough. In the next chapter, we will explore how to strengthen your relationship with money by making it part of your identity. When managing your finances becomes part of who you are, it is no longer something you have to remember to do. It becomes something you do naturally, without resistance, because it reflects the person you see yourself as. The strongest changes happen when they stop feeling like tasks and start feeling like part of your identity. You no longer have to remind yourself to do them because they are simply what you do and who you are. When it comes to money, this shift turns budgeting, saving, and mindful spending from rules you follow into natural expressions of how you live. To make this shift, start by deciding how you want to describe yourself. If you say, "I'm bad with money," or "I can't stick to a budget," those words shape your actions. If you say, "I'm someone who takes care of my money," or "I'm a mindful spender," those words also shape your actions, but in a supportive way. Your identity becomes a quiet guide, influencing your decisions without pressure. Once you choose a supportive identity, live it in small ways each day. If you see yourself as a saver, you will naturally think about putting something aside whenever you receive money. If you see yourself as a careful spender, you will pause to check your plan before buying. These small actions reinforce the identity, and the identity reinforces the actions. It helps to surround yourself with reminders of this new version of you. This might be a note on your phone that says, "I take care of my money," or a screensaver with a goal you are working toward. You can also keep physical reminders, like a jar where you collect saved cash, or a notebook where you track progress. Every time you see these, they strengthen your self-image. Your environment also plays a role. If your space is full of shopping triggers, receipts, unopened packages, sale flyers, it is harder to feel like a mindful spender. Clearing those out creates a space that reflects your new identity. When your surroundings match who you want to be, your actions follow more easily. Being intentional with the people you spend time with can also help. When you are around others who share your values, your habits feel normal instead of forced. You may have friends who also budget, save, or avoid impulse shopping. Spending time with them reinforces your identity because you see it reflected in the people around you. Making financial well-being part of who you are does not mean you will never make mistakes. It means that when you do, you know how to return to your path. Your identity acts as an anchor, pulling you back toward your values even when life gets busy or stressful. Over time, you will notice that you no longer think of money management as a separate task. It will simply be part of your day, like brushing your teeth or preparing a meal. You will feel more at ease with your decisions because they match the person you see yourself as. This shift also changes how you handle challenges. When an unexpected expense appears, you respond as someone who plans ahead and adapts. When you feel tempted to spend on something unplanned, you respond as someone who chooses based on their values. Your identity provides direction without needing constant effort. The more your actions and identity align, the stronger your habits become. The stronger your habits, the easier it is to keep building the life you want. This is the quiet power of making financial well-being part of who you are. It works in the background, guiding you every day without forcing you to rely on willpower alone. In the peaceful conclusion ahead, we will bring together everything you have learned, the steps you've taken, the shifts you've made, and the calm confidence you now carry. we will return to the central idea that your relationship with money can be a source of safety and peace, not stress. You have walked through a long and quiet journey in this story. You began by looking at the moments when money felt tangled with emotion. You learned how sadness, stress, and old habits could pull you toward overspending. You saw that these moments were not signs of weakness, but signals that something deeper needed attention. You found ways to respond with understanding instead of shame. You built a foundation by noticing patterns, setting priorities, and creating a plan that works with your life instead of against it. You made space for saving without guilt, spending with intention, and building habits that protect your progress. You learned that slips are part of the process and that recovery can be as important as prevention. Along the way, you discovered the value of small wins. You learned to pause and notice every supportive choice you made, even if it seemed too small to matter. You began to celebrate these moments, not with spending, but with acknowledgement and pride. This kept your energy steady on days when the bigger goal still felt far away. You also found ways to turn your vision for the future into a guide for the present. You wrote it down, reviewed it, and kept it close. You began to see each decision as part of a larger picture, shaping a life where you feel safe and steady. This vision gave meaning to your efforts and reminded you why they matter. In time, the changes you made became part of your identity. You started to see yourself as someone who takes care of their money and their future. Your choices began to feel natural, not forced. Your habits worked quietly in the background, protecting you even when life brought challenges. This journey is not about perfection. It is about creating a relationship with money that feels calm, supportive, and flexible. There will still be days when you feel tempted or unsure, but now you have tools, habits, and a clear sense of who you are when it comes to your money. You can respond with care instead of fear, and you can keep moving forward even when the path is uneven. Tonight, as you rest, remember that you have already taken meaningful steps. You are no longer in the same place you started. You have created a softer, kinder way to be with your money. You have built a path that belongs to you, shaped by your values and your vision. Tomorrow, you will have more choices to make. Some will be easy, some will take thought, but each one is a chance to keep telling this new story. A story where your money feels like a tool you guide, not a weight you carry. A story where safety and freedom can grow together. You do not have to rush. Change will keep building step by step, and each choice you make with care will be part of the life you are creating. You are still learning, you are still growing, and your story with money is still unfolding.